What do you do when the first thing you see coming home is your child hiding his broken hands from you? My flight landed 5 hours ahead of schedule. I didn't tell anyone my phone was still on airplane mode. I opened the front door quietly, expecting Jacob to jump out from behind the couch or Melissa to call from the kitchen. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe Huna Stories for more stories. That's what home used to feel like: noise, life. But the silence that met me felt wrong, tight, heavy, like the house was holding its breath. Then I saw him. Jacob stood near the wall, shoulders stiff, hands wrapped in thick white bandages. He tried to hide them behind his back, like whatever happened was his fault. His face looked pale, eyes red-rimmed, as if he'd learned how to cry without sound. "Daddy." Mom's boyfriend said, "These hands will never hold a gun like a coward's." The words hit harder than anything I'd imagined walking through that door. The bruises creeping above his bandages told the rest of the story. Finger-shaped, dark, deliberate. Jacob's voice was barely a whisper. He kept glancing down the hallway, expecting that man to appear and punish him for talking. I had questions, 1,000, but he looked like one more question might shatter him, so I just sat with him. I listened. I watched every flinch, every hesitation, and in each pause, I saw the part of his life I had completely missed. After the divorce, I convinced myself Melissa would keep our sons safe. I ignored the late-night calls. She refused to explain. I dismissed her refusal to let me come over unannounced. I let myself believe everything was fine, because believing anything else meant facing what I'd failed to see. But Jacob talked in pieces, the only way he could. "He says you're weak. He doesn't want me talking to you," he said. I needed a lesson. Each fragment came with a weight my son shouldn't know at his age. I didn't shout. Rage doesn't fix broken hands. Instead, I tucked Jacob into bed, sat beside him until he drifted off, and made him a promise, one I intended to keep with absolute precision. Then, I got to work. The next days blurred into a routine of calculation. At night, I parked across the street from their apartment. From that cold car seat, I watched their windows flicker. Melissa's silhouette moved quietly. His moved like he owned everything he touched. During the day, I dug deeper. Hospital reports labeled as falls, school notes about clumsiness, old texts from Melissa's phone I'd mirrored months back, ones that hinted she was scared but never said why. His background was worse: temporary jobs, restraining orders, a dropped assault case, a sealed juvenile record with just enough visible to confirm what I already knew. He had violence in him long before he found my son. I printed everything, every page, every screenshot, every timeline. The envelope thickened, so did my resolve. I sent copies to Child Services, my attorney, and the police. No threats, just facts. Then I called Melissa. "I'm coming over." This wasn't a request. She opened the door slowly, eyes immediately dropping to the envelope in my hand. Behind her, he leaned against the doorframe with that same lazy smirk I'd seen from the street, the smirk of someone who thinks consequences are for other people. Finally decided to show up. I walked past him, set the envelope on the table, and nodded at Melissa. "Read." She opened it, page after page. Her face crumpled, the injuries, the timelines, the transfers, his past. She looked at Jacob's photos longer than anything else. Her hands shook. His smirk faltered. His eyes darted across the evidence faster and faster, as if he could outrun what he was reading. "You've been watching us, spying," I said, and I didn't miss a thing. I told him what each document meant legally, financially, criminally. I told him about the copies already filed. "I'm pressing charges: full custody, restraining order, felony assault on a minor. They already have everything." His throat tightened. He backed toward the door. "You don't understand." I understand perfectly. And then the truth inside me surfaced, the one I hadn't said out loud until that moment. Breaking his jaw would be easy. Destroying his life would be simpler. If I gave in to anger, they'd lock me up and he'd walk out clean. If I stayed cold, he'd never walk out at all. He understood every word. He left without looking back. Later, the police confirmed he turned himself in. They had enough to hold him and begin what I knew would be a long, unforgiving process. That night, I sat beside Jacob's bed. His hands were still wrapped, but safe. Safe in a way they hadn't been for a long time. Outside, Melissa cried on the porch. I didn't go to her. That door had closed. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe Huna Stories for more stories.